Screencast feedback as a coaching tool in SCI207, presented by Dr. Clifford Blizard, Course Lead, Division of General Education. In this presentation, I will be discussing a recent project I undertook in SCI207, beginning with the context, a little bit about the course, and the purpose of my study. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Screencast feedback instructional tool that I used. Then I would like to talk about the research design and hypotheses of this study, the results, the implications of those results, some thoughts about further study, a review of the conclusions, and a slide with the references used. So let's begin with the course, SCI207, which is our dependence upon the environment. This is a general education environmental studies course, which fulfills the undergraduate science requirement here at Ashford University. It covers the scientific method within the context of environmental issues we face today. Approximately 100 students per week enroll in the course, and is designated by CETL as a lowest retention course. Students arrive in the class with a range of attitudes and experiences in science, ranging from disinterest and fear to enthusiasm and fascination. 4 hands-on lab activities. The Week 2 lab activity is in water quality, and that's the basis for the Week 3 rough draft assignment. And then the students revise their rough drafts of their lab report papers and produce the Week 5 final paper. The collective value of these 3 assignments is 40% of the course grade, 6 points for the lab, 10 points for the rough draft, and then 24 points for the final paper. So this is a really important part of the course, and looking at ways of improving the course, this looks like a really good area to target. So ideally, students are going to use their feedback that they receive on the Week 3 rough draft in order to improve the final paper. So if it would be possible to enhance the quality or nature of the way they're receiving the feedback on that draft, it could have a fairly dramatic impact on their overall performance in the course. To examine the efficacy of a potential tool for providing students with more meaningful feedback on their Week 3 rough drafts as a means of improving their final paper scores and their overall performance in SCI207. The tool being used is Screencast feedback using the online program Screencast-O-matic. So, a little bit about Screencast feedback. This involves recording the instructor's voice while the video scrolled through the assignment. The free online program used, Screencast-O-matic, both makes recordings and then stores them on the web. The instructor using this tool indicated the areas and strategies for improvement, yielding feedback that was highly personalized. The recording produced was uploaded and could be accessed only with a specific URL that was provided to the student. So students could not access each other's feedback. The URL was then emailed to the student and also provided in the waypoint feedback area of the assignment to the student. And this was used instead of in-text comments to the student, where the student would actually receive various points noted right on their paper. Quite a bit of research over the past few years into this particular tool, Screencast feedback, for university students. For instance, Edwards, Dujardin, and Williams in 2012 noted that this kind of feedback could be highly effective at enhancing student feelings about receiving and processing feedback on essays. While Thompson and Lee in 2012 noticed that this serves as a better vehicle for in-depth explanatory feedback that creates rapport and a sense of support for the writer than traditional written comments. Finally, Vincelette and Bostic in 2013 commented that students are, quote, more likely to try to incorporate the suggestions into their revision process than they are with traditional written comments. So, the focus of this particular investigation was on the academic effectiveness of the technique. The presenter and 3 volunteer SCI207 instructors participated in the study, and 7 treatment classes received the Screencast feedback. And for the purposes of full disclosure, 4 of those classes were taught by the presenter, and the other 3 were taught by one each by the 3 volunteers. 8 control classes taught by Doge faculty were selected after they'd already run their course from the same weeks of the year. And in these courses, as conventionally done in SCI207, the students received written feedback and waypoint. Now, only the students who submitted both the Week 3 and the Week 5 assignments, in other words, both the rough draft and the final draft, were included in the study. This resulted in 105 students in the treatment group and 109 in the control group. Working hypotheses for this study. First, that students receiving the screencast feedback will achieve greater academic success on their final papers relative to their rough drafts than those students who receive conventional typed comment, feedback, and waypoint. Also, students receiving the screencast feedback will achieve greater academic success overall on their final course grade relative to their grade in the class prior to receiving the feedback than those students who receive conventional feedback and waypoint. The first hypothesis involved first a couple of calculations that calculated the Week 5 final assignment percent score. Now remember, the Week 3 and Week 5 papers have different point values, so I converted the point values to percents. And then I subtracted the Week 3 rough draft assignment percentage score from the Week 5 final assignment percentage score in order to get a percentage improvement on the assignment. For the second hypothesis, I simply subtracted the Week 3 course percentage score, their status percentage in Week 3, from their Course 5 final percentage score to get the percentage improvement overall, just a measurement of that. And then I performed 2 sample one-tailed t-tests with unequal variance in Excel with a p-value, looking for a p-value less than 0.05 for statistical significance. So, the first hypothesis, again, looked at improvement on the Week 5 assignment relative to the Week 3 draft. The average improvement here was about 2.04%, and the t-test result was p equal to 0.1304, resulting in the hypothesis being rejected. There is a difference observed, but it's not statistically significant. The second hypothesis pertained to improvement on final course grade relative to the Week 3 course grade. Here the average improvement was 3.53%. The t-test result was p equal to 0.0033, resulting in the hypothesis being accepted at p less than 0.05. Here there is a statistically significant difference of about a third of a letter grade present between the treatment and control groups. So, screencast feedback does appear to enhance student performance in SCI207, resulting in an average course grade improvement of about 3.5%. Some, but not all, of that improvement is due to a better outcome on the Week 5 assignment. Where's the rest coming from? Well, in a meta-study of audio and screencast feedback research, Orlando 2016 identified several themes that have emerged regarding student response to such feedback. There are a couple that could apply here and that are worth further investigation. One is an increased sense of instructor caring. So students feel that the instructors care more about them, and that leads them to care more in turn about the course. The other is decreased feelings of isolation and increased student motivation. So a student feeling more like they're part of a class and less like they're off by themselves, and as a result feeling more motivated about being academically successful in the course. I received in student surveys, and these were just the basic survey that the students receive at the end of the course. So it didn't ask them specifically about the screencast. This is just a couple of students that did actually speak about that. One of them wrote, "One of my favorite aspects was receiving a video of the grading of one of my papers. Taking online classes really makes you feel disconnected from the college setting. Having that video brought me to the classroom and made me feel like there was dialogue between us. I could hear his thoughts as he marked up my work for grading. For me personally, it was a total plus for the course and rejuvenated my excitement for school." So this really speaks to that sense of motivation, belonging, and care that I spoke of just a moment ago. Another student wrote, "This instructor offered video feedback on a crucial assignment. It really made it more understandable. I think all teachers should do the video or voice feedback because it feels more real and gives you a chance to get a better understanding than just with words." This also hints at, maybe in terms of feels more real, suggests maybe feeling more like a real class, on-ground class sort of experience, and also points to the direct role of this feedback in helping students with actually processing their feedback on the assignment. So, this particular investigation included only 7 treatment classes. As I mentioned, 4 of them were taught by the presenter. It would be great to see a study like this done with a larger sample size. Ideally, perhaps 1,000 students instead of just 214. Obviously, this would be a massive undertaking requiring a lot of faculty to volunteer to be involved, but it's something I'm thinking about for the future. It would also be worthwhile to do a mixed methods or qualitative investigation to examine more closely the ways in which the feedback benefits the students. How are the students articulating their experience of the screencast feedback in the course? And certainly, additional studies in Doge and across Ashford University would be helpful. Looking at other contexts in which screencast feedback might be appropriate and looking at the effects of that screencast feedback in those contexts. So, by way of conclusion, this study examined the academic impact of screencast feedback on students in SCI207, our dependence upon the environment, in the Division of General Education at Ashford University. Feedback was given on a rough draft assignment in week 3, providing students with recommendations for improvements on the final assignment in week 5. Students receiving the screencast feedback improved by about 2.03% on their final paper compared with those that did not. This result was not statistically significant. Following the feedback, students that received it improved 3.53% on average in the course overall compared with those who did not. And this result was, in fact, statistically significant. So, screencast feedback appears to support student academic success, somewhat directly, improvements on paper, but also indirectly, perhaps through motivation and caring about the course, expressed by the instructor and felt by the student. So this concludes my presentation on screencast feedback in SCI 207 that were cited in this particular study. And thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. The presenter can be reached at Clifford, Clifford, .Blizard, Blizard, at ashford.edu. Again, thank you.